ఆ ఎండు కొట్టేసి ఇందాక ఎండ్ మీటింగ్స్ కొట్టేసి మళ్ళీ ఫ్రెష్గా పెడతారు. ఆ, ఇప్పుడు
ఇప్పుడు స్టేజ్ చూపిస్తుంది.
స్టేజ్ పెడతాం పెట్టింది దాన్ని. సార్ ఇప్పుడు చూడండి సార్.
అవుతుంది, జనరేట్ అవుతుంది. బ్యానర్ వస్తుంది.
అవునా సార్, నేను చూస్తాను ఆగండి సార్. సార్
ఇప్పుడు వస్తుందిలే.
ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిందండి. అవునవును ఉన్నారు. అవును అవును సార్, అవును సార్, కరెక్టే సార్, కరెక్టే సార్. అదే
బ్యానర్ వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు
బ్యానర్ వచ్చిందా సార్? ఇప్పుడు బ్యానర్ బ్యానర్ వద్దన్నారు సార్ ఇప్పుడే. బ్యానర్ వచ్చిందా? ఓకే సార్. ఓకే సార్. ఓకే సార్. సార్ బ్రౌజర్ లో మీట్ పెట్టుకున్నాను సార్, ఎక్కువ రాకుండా.
బ్రౌజర్ లో మ్యూట్ లోనే ఉందని చెప్పి నేను పెట్టాం. ఇక్కడ ఇంకా ఆన్ చేయలేదు మైక్. ఆన్ చేయను మైక్.
చేయకండి.
చేయలే, మ్యూట్ లోనే ఉంది.
మనం వినిపిస్తున్నాయంట మరి. మీరు ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ చేయలే కదా సార్, సైన్ అవుట్ అయ్యింది ఇలా మీటింగ్స్ క్యాన్సిల్ చేసి. ఓకే ఓకే. Sir.
in collaboration with Eason, Gupta, and Taran. In Greens, where we celebrate the unveiling of remarkable work brilliant dreams for the Flipkart's growth story. We are honored to have us today the distinguished guests who will grace us with their presence and insights. To begin the auspicious evening, I would like to invite our honorable guests onto the dais. Please welcome Dr. Srinivasa Murthy, Director of IT. I ask the from the dais. Now, I request our director, sir, for welcome address.
Vice President of Flipkart, my chief colleague, and all my esteemed faculty colleagues sitting here and students of last year. We are fortunate today to have Sri Varadharaju, popularly known as Varada, for his illustrious career in the area of Flipkart, and also writing through important books. And today's morning function is meant for the first book, Indian Dream. Fortunate to have Sri Varadharaju himself coming here and sharing his experience in writing that book. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to the request. We also thank our honorable board members, Mohandas Pai Garu, who has been instrumental in bringing Sri Varadharaju to the IT campus. You know, India is emerging as the third largest economy. There are many challenges. At the same time, India is the most dynamic place in the globe now. Because of many reasons. Ours is the largest democracy. We have the largest engineering and management talent pool. And this country, where we have yoga, we have been yoga to the world. And also we have great growth in various sectors of the economy, industry, or agriculture, services, every sector. So we have a great challenge. Certainly, world looks for India because we have the largest contributor base. So naturally, we are going to dictate to the rest of the world what could be the customer delight, customer expectation. So as you have seen, Amazon and Flipkart, they have created revolutions in this market space because of three important reasons. One is, of course, the product itself. We are able to provide the quality of the product. And second important aspect is the convenience. And the technology has made it so easy for you there, sitting at home, you can get product of your choice, the product of your quality expectation. And payment system is so robust, and you're very happy. And that has actually influenced the volumes of the corporate sector, not only in India, other countries. And today we are going to hear from the horse's mouth what is actually the success story of Flipkart. We thought that we should be privileged to listen to Varadharaju, and we also request you to take some time in the future also to address the students. And we will be addressing the seniors in the afternoon from 1:30 to 3, and also there will be a faculty interaction from 4 to 4 o'clock. So in these few words, I'm how the board and about the faculty, staff and students, I welcome Shri Varadharaju, Janardhanan for the campus. Welcome to you, sir. Thank you very much.
చాలా వస్తాయి.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce Varadharaju Janardhanan. Dr. Varadharaju Janardhanan is the second global data research and award-winning thinker, author, educationalist, and a coach with nearly 3 decades of experience with budding startups, mid-sized companies, and large multinational corporations in helping build and scale up their talent and people functions. In addition to his contributions towards building organizations for scale, Varda also enjoys contributing back to nature and student community as a speaker, author, certified executive coach, and a mentor for early stage tech startups. Now I welcome you on the dialogue.
Good morning, all of you. So I thought like I will get little more energy from all of you. Good morning. Wow, this is fantastic. So, and it's a real pleasure and honor to be in this institute. While coming there, I understood about IP and how the organization, this institute has evolved in the last 50 years. 60, okay, 60 years. And then this 10-year-old campus is such a beautiful campus. So, and such a great work that professors and all of you have really done. It's an absolute honor. Thanks to our director to invite me to share my experience of this research of what I really kind of done in the last 4 years, right? I have what, 90 minutes or 75 minutes? 75 minutes, okay. So, folks, you want to kind of spend more time on Q&A or more time on the deck? Q&A? Okay, so should I do a 45-minute session and then 30 minutes Q&A?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. I will time it. I generally stick to the time. All right. So, how many of you have read A Billion Dreams here? So, good. At least some 10-15 people. Nice. So, I should really speak for the next 45 minutes. How as an organization, Flipkart has really evolved. So if you have really looked at what really surprises me as an organization in less than 2 decades, right? Flipkart has our last valuation round that we did in 2022. Flipkart has been valued at $37 billion. That's massive, right? Which is in less than like 2 decades. That's number one. Number two, it is the most preferred e-commerce platform in India. That's the second big thing. And the third, this is what is kind of always when I think about it, it gives me that goosebumps. It has produced more than 350 entrepreneurs to the startup ecosystem as an organization, right? That's massive, and it has produced more than 200 startups. So when I just collaborate all of this, I was probably as a researcher thinking there had to be something special in this company, right? I have worked in many companies and I've seen in this kind of a scale of a growth or a contribution to an ecosystem or a market dominance. So all the three are there. That means there is something special have to be in this company. And that's the start point of the research. As part of the research, I actually partnered with one of the professors from, it's echoing, right? Is it all okay, folks?
Yes.
All right. So I actually partnered with one of the professors from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He was ex-chairman of Management Sciences. My co-author is Professor Balsubramanian, right? So we came together, we complemented our skills very beautifully, and we wanted to really go deeper and then cut the culture and then figure out what really comes out. So the story for the next 40-45 minutes is all about it. The impact of culture, the culture of entrepreneurship, how it has created a sustainable impact on business outcome. Okay? Before we just start getting is it working? I will walk you through a bit of the Flipkart journey so far in a very pictorial format so that you know like where we started, where are we, what are the key milestones, and from there actually like we can get into our conversation. Okay? Good work. Like office job work. Like how much work you need to prepare, things have to go wrong, will go wrong. You guys can start fixing, I will just start using it. This is our journey of our maximization, right? I keep using this word of maximization. I'll tell you why I'm using this word. We started as an organization in 2007. You know how Flipkart is started? What was the first line of business? Selling books. We are as an online book retailer. Then the first milestone that I just kept is 2010. It's called as cash on delivery. You know the history behind cash on delivery? Any thoughts? Okay, this is a very interesting story. Today, e-commerce is more, I would say, closer to a mature business. But then in early 2000, it was a very infant business. I would say like a very immature business. I'm sure like, what is the average age here? Around 22? Huh? So early part of 2000, you should be in some school. So if you have to buy, like let's say an apparel, clothes or something, what do? You go to an online shopping or you go to an offline nearby stores?
Offline.
Nearby stores with your parents, right? Where do you go?
We can buy in cash.
Yeah, so it's generally what happens is like from India, like we actually go as a family, as a celebration, go to a store. If you want to buy, let's say, a red salwar, you will go to a store where there is a salwar and then you look at the red color and then say whether it's a cotton. And sometimes I have a sister, she says like the red color salwar should have one brown border and then a different color to that, and then you do all of it. And then you look also on the price. After that, you take the product and then get to the counter, you pay the whatever the price, and then you get the product back, right? And it's a very hassle-free. When we introduced the e-commerce on 2007, all we did is we are showing it in a small mobile screen, right? What people had is like whatever like Flipkart is claiming this is a red silver. How do I know it's red? Is red or maroon? I don't even know. When you are claiming it as cotton, I don't know whether it's cotton, right? You are telling it will come in like 3 days. I'm not sure it is really come in 3 days. More so, you are asking me to pay in advance. So it's a big trust issue, right? So to break the trust, this is the first time as I would just be very audacious as an innovation, financial innovation that we did. We said that it's okay, you select the product, you get it to your home, and then look at the product. If you are fine, then you pay. It's called as cash on delivery. That's the first breakthrough that we did. And Flipkart was the first e-commerce company to really do, and the rest immediately followed. That's the first breakthrough on converting people from offline to an online. That's a story behind it. So that's the reason that I put like cash on delivery as a big financial breakthrough. So then comes, you know what, if you have to really, if you go to a shop, if you have to really buy a product, what are those 3 metrics that you use to buy a product? Quality? Okay, size, then price. Okay, price, then selection. Right, so today you're all exactly, you need a very trendy stuff, right? You don't use what generally like people are. So selection is very important, price point is very important, service is very important, and quality is very important, right? And it's heavily impossible for any e-commerce company to procure all by themselves and keep it in their warehouse. So therefore, there's another breakthrough we did is getting into a marketplace. Marketplace is something, a definition is like you onboard sellers into your platform and you play as a platform where they can actually sell their product via the platform. So therefore what happens is you are actually like cutting on the selection. Let's say you have 10 vendors versus like a 1 lakh vendor, the selection goes up. When there are more vendors, there is a competition, your price point go down. But in the bargain, what we really ensure is making sure there's a quality, there is no compromise, and service, there is no compromise. So that's another big breakthrough that we got into this marketplace. And then again, how many of you like did your purchase on BBD this time? We call it Big Billion Days, right? Only 1, 2, 3. I'm surprised, guys. Right? So you know why that we really introduced Big Billion Day? It has a fantastic story around our purpose statement. Our purpose in the organization is very, very simple. Empower every Indian dreams. What I really mean by that, empower every Indian dreams. See, India is full of festivals, rituals, celebration, right? So during the time around like Diwali or a puja celebration, what we really do, we actually come as a family together. We actually celebrate, and we are also kind of buy a lot of things, and we want to create a really mood. So in 2013-14 that we actually introduced this Big Billion Day, the construct that how can we make the entire India celebrate with Flipkart, right? During the Big Billion Day, there are offers which really kind of kills. You know what? I actually like bought this iPhone last before year, right? You know. Especially in iPhones, right? You know, like how much that we sell in the first 1 hour of Big Billion Day? Any number? 20 lakhs. This time we actually launched like how many of you bought iPhone this time? 1, right? 1, 2. Okay, very few. iPhone 15. You know what? We generally like start the sale in the midnight 12 o'clock. And within like the first 10 minutes, everything got sold out. First 10 minutes. And these are phones which are hundreds and thousands. Right? So I can even give now the price points to you. Hope it's not recorded, right? So the market value was around like, okay, I can tell my product when I really bought. So this, when I bought this iPhone, it was around, the market value was around like 78,000 or something. And on the day one, on Big Billion Day, I got this for like 49,990. The steep discount that we have really got. So we work with our partners and we work with the banks, and then we make sure that collectively that we pass on benefit to the consumers. So that's the big concept of Big Billion Day. And then now there are every other e-commerce company they really follow. So the Uber point, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to stay on top of your game, you have to constantly innovate. Not only constantly innovate, but innovate at scale. Of course, all of those innovations would be copied, but that's okay. You will have a first mover advantage, right? And therefore, like we started. And then if you look at the big move when Walmart had a largest stakes in Flipkart. So that's a big thing. During 2016-17, they actually like I will use this word very acquired Flipkart, right? Had the largest stake in Flipkart, and then now we have become more a Walmart company, right? So that's the biggest thing that we really had. Working now? Okay, as the journey moved on, you would see in this journey there are a lot of companies that we have really acquired. So far, from an acquisition standpoint, my research ended in 2020. So data that I'm going to really share, which is also there in the book, is so far we have acquired till 2022 about 21 companies that we have really acquired. Research shows, this is a research study that we have gone through. Research shows that not all the companies that organizations acquire through an M&A that they really succeed. But we have a huge success rate of more than 70%. Right? Why do a company acquire, do an M&A? For 2-3 things. Number one, to complement their product suites, their capability, go-to-market strategy, and also eventually the outcome of your top and the bottom line, right? You just see that there are quite a few that we have really acquired. Gone to the last slide. So we acquired StatePay, we acquired McFoca, there are quite a bit. Mintra, for that matter, Jabong for that matter. So we have acquired quite a lot, and that has really kind of helped us to really get into our market positioning. And you see this Flipkart Quick here, right? We actually like Flipkart Quick is equivalent to your Zeptos and Blinkits. How many of you use Zeptos and Blinkits here? A lot of you, right? Why do you use? 10 minutes. Because we don't have patience to wait for like 1 hour or 1 day. So we need everything very quick. We actually experimented this in 2020, right? But be very sure when you're really running a large company, not all experiments see the light. Sometimes you have to find the right product market fit. And therefore, like when we did 2020, maybe that we were trying to really figure out the right product market fit, we took it back. And now in 2024, we have again relaunched that called Flipkart Minutes. So the story, what I'm trying to really say here is, as an organization, you should have the culture of experimentation. So when you are experimenting out of 10, not all the 10 would really see the light. Maybe like 1 or 2 would really see the light, right? And another 2 or 3 where you should constantly pivot and see where is your product market fit. And other 5, you would say like it's not point in time that I want to really explore. And one of those experimentation again brought us back to Flipkart Minutes. That's what I just want to really do that. So this is generally, I just want to give a little brief about the Flipkart in terms of journey. Now I won't really show. Yeah. It's nearby. Okay. So some of the statistics that I want to really, I just want, I don't want to read the numbers, maybe, is it a big number? Right? Look at from the product listed in the cuts. Right? It's almost like 150 million plus products. So this is what I was called as the selections. right? So huge variety. And in fact, during the BBD, in fact, one of our engineering head, they shared this data in our, we call it as Flipkart Connect, which is a town hall. During the BBD, right? You know, like what percentage of Indians transact on our platform? Do you know that? Just throw numbers. During the BBD, so India is what, 1.4 billion? Out of 1.4 billion, how many Indians transact in our platform? Huh? 10 million, okay. Any guess this side? 20 million. 20 million? Okay. The data that really came out was like mind-blowing. It said like 1 in every 4 Indians transact during the Big Billion Day. That's how massive the BBD is, right? And that shows about, in terms of like, it showed there, right? 1 in 4 Indian transact during our Big Billion Day. And are catering into the, so India is a very diverse, right? It has small villages to town, to large cities. We are the very few in the e-commerce industry to cater to almost all 100% pin code. That's again a massive from a scale standpoint, right? So why I'm trying to really give a little bit of this prelude, guys, we have to understand one, the business, the journey, the complexity that is really involved, and therefore when I dive next into the use cases, you will know like why I'm really saying some of those facts. Okay? Next. So I spoke about this, some of the key milestones. You know when like Flipkart has become a unicorn? You know what is unicorn? Huh? What is unicorn definition? Somebody, a company which is valued more than $1 billion or so. When was Flipkart became a unicorn? Any idea? We started in 2007. In less than 5 years, it's 2012. And then we have also become a decacorn very quickly. What is decacorn? What is definition of a decacorn? 10 billion and above. You know when that we crossed 10 billion and above? Bang on. I think he is following Flipkart very closely. Around 14 15 times. So that's how like very rapidly that we really did, right? So that's a great milestone. And then I spoke about the valuation when we did the last Falcon round. Then the startup ecosystem that I spoke, and finally the success rate of all the M&As that we really did. In fact, our study proved that almost 70% of the M&As that we have done so far are extremely successful, and we have not seen this in the history of M&A across the globe, right? So now the big question is, with all of this data point, whatever that I showed about our journey, some of the great milestones that we really achieved, what is really giving the stick to Flipkart? That's a big question that all of us we really have in mind, right? And that is what I want to really decode through some stories. Yeah, next. I would attribute all of this to the culture, right? Culture has got these 3 elements. One is purpose, second is values, third is EVP. EVP is nothing but employee value proposition, right? So our purpose, when I interviewed the founder, Vinny Bansal, or my CEO, Kalyan, so their articulation of purpose, right from the day when company got incepted to now, and also several of the management executives, the core purpose has not changed. Maybe how they have really articulated have really changed. So therefore, purpose remained the same. What is the purpose? They want to kind of empower every Indian dreams by delivering value through technology in commerce, right? So that's the very core purpose. They want to create that aspect. So that remains the same. The second comes in the values, right? The values are the one which company really operates on, right? So the values are again like very simple, simply put as ABC. You know what is ABC? What A stands for, B stands for, and C stands for? Very simple. A stands for audacity, B for bias for action, and C is customer centricity. And then there are two I's that have been added. The first I is integrity, second I is inclusion. And when we did this research, none of these values have been changed or diluted or morphed. Right? I'll come back to that. All of this. I wanted you to really understand this. And finally, you can have a great purpose, you can have a great values, but then if employees don't experience all of this in an organization, it's all marketing outside. Correct? So you have to really kind of experience it firsthand inside. So that is what we really call it as employee value proposition. Our value proposition is in one liner that we can say together we dare to maximize. What we want to maximize? We want to maximize learning for our employee. We maximize the well-being for the employee. We want to maximize the growth for the employees. Right? All of that, anything that you think it's maximization. Right? So that's the big story. So therefore, all the three together for us, I would say like the purpose, the value, the EVP together is what I would really call it as the entrepreneurial culture. Right? So, okay, what did we do? The first is we dissected the story of Flipkart, the numbers of Flipkart, and then finally that now we have come to what has really made this Flipkart tick. I'm starting off with this narrative of the culture of purpose, value, and employee value proposition. I'm going to now walk through with some 4 use cases. Right? Now then with all this backdrop, I'm going to give you the 4 use cases and see like how this entrepreneurial culture has really impacted the business. Does it make sense? We'll do that? Yeah. So, okay, before that, let's also kind of imagine how this culture plays. I keep using this metaphor. All of you very regularly travel in flights. So, what are the very important components in flight? If flight have to really perform really well. Huh? Engine. If flight have to really do well, there are very 3 important components. Huh? What is that? Engine? Yeah, pilot, co-pilot. That's very important. Outside of that, I'm talking about the components. So one is your engine, second is your wings, and third is your rudders. So I'm going to really kind of keep the screen and then use the pilot little later. So engines are the one which actually like, you can click that. Engines are the one which actually like powers the flight. So in my metaphor, I won't really say engines are like your purpose, which actually like powers the organization forward. Then you have those wings. Wings are the one which actually keep the flight for the organization. And if I relate that back to my culture, the wings are nothing but your employee value proposition. And finally, you have those rudders. Rudders provide direction to the flight, and rudders are nothing but your moral compass in an organization parlance. So therefore, I would really equate that to the values. So this is how, like, if you kind of have all 3 of really function together for the flight to reach its preferred destination, right? So the pilots and the co-pilots that I won't really come back to. Co-pilots are like your management team, co-founders, and your HR. They actually are the co-pilots. Passengers are nothing but the employees. If their job is to kind of take the flight to the desired destination on time, also safe. Right? Does it make sense? So that is pretty much a culture that I want to really kind of give you. We spoke about the challenges that an e-commerce industry had really faced. The first use case that I want to really kind of, we spoke about this cash on delivery, right? So, as an organization, when it is very, very early, 3 years in the industry and making a very bold attempt at that point in time, let's say like if this would have backfired, company would have run in losses, right? So what is very important for you to really drive forward is have those, being the mindset of being very audacious, taking those bold bets. When there are bold bets, that's when like you will go for a very transformational innovation, right? That has taken the company forward. And while we are also doing some of those bold bets, keeping consumer in the center. So all what we really do, right? Either the business proposal, the policies or programs, the first question that has been asked is, tell me what is in it for the customer. Right? why are you doing this? How will they really benefit out of that? Right? So that's where like your first COD came into picture. The second use case that I want to really say, yeah, I can do COD. One set of problem is solved, but the big set I will tell you. If you dissect India, is India filled with middle class, upper middle class, or lower middle class?
Middle class.
Huh? Demography. Pretty much your bottom is very heavy, right? And all of them have dreams, but I don't have money to really fix this. So we were the first one to really introduce, okay, if you can't do cash on delivery, here is a concept called you buy the product now and you pay the money later. Buy now, pay later is the first concept that we introduced. So again, coming back to our core principles here is why did we really introduce two factors? Number one is the culture of audacity. Audacity is what? The value A. And keeping the consumers in center, that we want to empower every Indian dream, and therefore like customer centricity was the second one, and then the purpose was the one which actually driven that. So these are the elements which actually kind of made those business construct. Make some sense, guys? Okay, let me just stop here. Any questions so far? Let me break the monotony of me speaking. Any questions so far? No? Okay. I am assuming either you are fully into it or you are completely not into it. Fully into that? Okay. That's the first use case. The second use case, now let's go. The second use case that we spoke about, the Big Billion Day, right? Why did we really introduce the Big Billion Day? Instead of me telling the story, now let's kind of ask anyone. I gave a little bit of a glimpse, right? Why did we really do that? Huh? Large volume of sales, okay, that's again sales, right?
So to make products affordable to everyone.
Can somebody give the mic to her?
To see that the products are affordable to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. What else can you do? It's a very good. Can you somebody double click on that? Product affordability is one. What else? Okay, that we keep doing that as part of the business. Why specifically the PPT? Yeah.
Like have an idea of why the Brazilian days work on products would be that giving more discounts on products is one of the best way to make sure that everybody can look at the Big Billion Days as an opportunity to get more items that they really want to get. Because not every time our people look on cash and they don't have cash on the card. So this is a one time when they want cash and yet get more products.
Yeah, I think like very close. I think you just said that. See, we actually time those Big Billion Day during this Puja and the Diwali time. So that's when like the India turns into a very celebrative mood, and then like we want that celebration to kind of beef up. If you can really give those quality products in a very affordable price, in a way in which like all the consumers can really use it. So that's a very important element. By the way, if you want to really manage this kind of a scale and a volume, right? We said like 1/4 of every Indian transact in our platform. Look at the volume in which that our platform have to be stable, right? You have to make sure that platform doesn't really go down. And second, it's not only like Flipkart does all of this all by its own. We actually have partnership with the banks. How many of you have kind of did your purchases in this BBD? What is that? Can you just tell me? The reason why I'm asking, I will tell you why I'm asking this question. Can somebody give a mic to her? Choose, okay? That's it. So did you only saw a discount or you also saw our partners playing a role? Who are they? Companies? Okay. In fact, I got a Lenovo laptop this time. In fact, the partners were like HDFC Bank, right? You know what they really do. When I say like we are giving the best of the price, it's not just the brand that really gives, but also the partnering. For example, the bank has given 10% offer, right? The brand, because we probably say on a big billion day, like instead of doing a 10,000 laptop sale, maybe if it goes to a 100,000 laptop, maybe they will probably go from a 10% offer to a 20% offer. So maybe like 20%, there is already a 30. And then like Flipkart adds with all of this cost optimization, and then gives a very phenomenally like unimaginable price where sometimes you want to buy that as part of your dream, the dream gets fulfilled. So that's a big portion of what we really do that. Right? That's again called for a lot of your audacity to really do that. Right? And then a lot of companies now they do our competition starts doing in all of this, right? So that's the second thing. The third use case that I want to really bring in is like one of our values is also inclusion. What is the definition of inclusion? What does inclusion mean to all of us? What does inclusion mean? Huh? Sorry?
Altogether.
Altogether, what does it really mean? Altogether mean?
Collaboration.
Not really. Include everyone. What is that? That's what I'm trying to really say. Huh?
Partnership.
Irrespective. Yeah, go ahead.
Embracing diversity.
Fantastic. Embracing diversity. Inclusion is all about diversity. Today, diversity that we are thinking about, diversity means gender diversity, right? Male and female. But we are beyond male and female diversity. What are the other diversity you can think of? Person with disability, right? That could be a diversity, right? Then there is other very important diversity that today the industry is talking about. What is that? I've heard of this word LGBTQI,
Yes.
right? So that's a big diversity, right? So it's not just your gender diversity, but people with disability, right? Your LGBTQI and the other aspects. However, as an organization that you are very inclusive because our culture is an inclusive organization, right? That's a big use case that we really have. We run this hubs. You know what is hubs? Right? Where your stocks are stored, warehouses, right? That's a big part of supply chain. I don't know, like other organizations, the first time in India, like we have hubs which are set up in Delhi, completely run by PWD, which is person with disability, right? And there is a hub in Chennai, run completely by women, which is your warehouse, which is always dominated by male. We have broken those barriers. You have to really talk those stories. It cannot be like values cannot be your wall hangers. It has to be come in the form of your rituals. You have to demonstrate it. So that is what I'm going to really talk. So that again calls for your inclusion mindset, but being very, very audacious. I have a interesting video that I just want to really show to you. And you will hear the people in Delhi Hub that they really spoke about how their experience and life has really transformed. Can you just say that? You have to hold some technical glitch. All of you can understand Hindi? Yes. Very good. But there are English subtitles will really come in. It's a very insightful video. Can you please?
हमारे भारतीय विज्ञान में काफी जैसे देखो पहले प्रॉब्लम और जिस वजह से देखो है अब ज्यादा इंसान की अपनी किस्मत मानते या ऐसे लड़ना पसंद या नहीं लड़ना चुना
मेरे दो आंखें उंगलियां नहीं है पर कभी अपने आप को दिखा नहीं सकता समाज चाहे जो भी सोचे जो भी काम करता हूँ मैं साथ ही करता हूँ बहुत ही अच्छा लगा कि ईट पर दोनों ओर ही हमारा कट जाएगा जब काम करने में तो बहुत संघर्ष सेवा करना पड़ेगा और के हिसाब से बोलता है तो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता एक दोस्त ने बताया फ्लिपकार्ट के बारे में जिसमें मैंने ज्वाइन किया फ्लिपकार्ट ज्वाइन करने के बाद पीछे मुड़कर कभी नहीं देखा आज मुझे भरोसा है कि मैं अपने चारों बच्चे की सुरक्षित भविष्य दे पाऊंगा
तो आपको तो एक आदमी आपके मानो मुझे एक फैमिली दिखती है हम जाते हैं कोई ज्यादा ये थोड़ी कम है पर हर कहानी तब दिखाई है कहानी सीरियस
Every time I see this video, become very emotional about the Flipkart. It's a fact that values cannot be your wall handles. If you can actually practice those values in real life, and if you just live it, that's when the organization grows. I always keep telling people when I meet even young entrepreneurs, what is the purpose of starting a company? Is it to drive value or drive valuation? Value. It is value over the valuation. If people chase behind valuation, then it is like a parabolic curve, right? If you really want to really build a company which drives value, it goes like this, right? So therefore, look at those values. The reason why I'm just talking all of this, folks, is the culture of entrepreneurship, where it's a combination of purpose, values, and EVP. How that really beautifully drives your impact. I have one final use case that I really have. I'm going to get this very deep engineering use case, right? And how that is really kind of linking back to our culture, right? So this is called as virtual try-on. Okay, so maybe a little bit of my biases creeping in. I'm going to really ask this question to all the friends. So how often do you visit beauty clinic? Parlor or beauty, whatever. Huh? Monthly twice? Once? Okay, maybe the silence means monthly once, right? Okay, so, okay, the question that I really want to ask you is, why do you go there? To kind of keep your skin neat and clean, right? To make yourself look even better? Okay, I'm going to really come with a skincare product, right? And product which is like an unknown ABCD, and I say like, hey, this is a great product, I'm giving you 50% offer. Will you buy? Will you buy? No? Why no? Huh? You never tried it on? Okay. So what? You need to test, right? You need to test because you will not know. Not all skins are same. Mine could be a dry skin. Yours could be an oily skin. Some skins are very wrinkled, right? So not all products that would really fit into your real skin. So to do that, where do we really go? Either to the beauty clinic or sometimes you go to a dermatologist or to some parlors, right? Because where you get some advices and then do it. So now then, again, coming back to the Gen Z world, where everything that you want is like 10 minutes, is the click with the technology. So here is what a virtual try on that we tried. What is a selfie that you really take and answer like few questions, and then the app throws, hey, this is your type of skin, and this is the kind of product that you should really buy. If you buy it, this is your advantage of those. How does that really look? Cool? Yeah, and that is what like virtual try on means. So this is again the first time in the industry. So thinking about the consumer, the younger generation, and then coming out with those disruptive innovation, and that is going to really drive those sales. Another one during our Big Billion Day that we have really introduced, one more innovation. Why I'm talking about innovation because that's the only element which is going to really keep a company growth upward. There is something called a price lock. How many of you have used price lock during this BBD? Then I will tell you what is price lock. Anybody use? No, right? Okay. I told that I want to buy this iPhone. And this iPhone gets over in 10 minutes, the start of the BBD. I can't wake up at 12 o'clock and then I get disappointed if I don't get in the same price, right? So we have introduced something like a price lock. You don't have to wait for that midnight 12 o'clock and then it's not a fastest finger. You can probably 3 days before, let's say this is a 60,000 phone, right? You can probably lock it with like maybe a minimum 10%. Let's say I'm paying you 6,000 rupees. The deal with Flipkart is the lowest price during the BBD that Flipkart sells, you will get it. How does it look like? Nice? Keeping the consumers in the center. Right, that's another one that we really cracked. The other one, another innovation that I would say, to buy a two-wheeler, where will you go? Showroom, right? Why do you go to showroom?
Test drive.
One is that I want to see the model. Then the second is the test drive. Third is the color. Fourth is like how does that bike feels and all of it, right? Right? What if we say that Flipkart is selling bikes online? Can you believe? We are selling bikes online, tracking all of this problem. What are you trying to really say? One is testing, right? Moment you really kind of book it, it will come to your doorstep for a test drive. How cool it is, right? There's a virtual, for example, within when you get into an app, there's a 3D AR/VR that acts into picture. It's like I want to park my bike just in the entrance of my place, but I don't know whether that bike will fit or not. As simple as that, you have to take a picture of that veranda, and then it goes with that bike. Bike would actually sit in there, and then it will say whether it fits or not, doesn't fit. Isn't it good? And then you can actually open the seat, and then you get into the dignity, right? And see whether the kind of helmet that you have, whether it will go inside, what is the capacity? Using AR, VR, right? Are you solving all of this? And finally, your registration of the assistance. In fact, that business is really picking up in the last 8 months. Again, using the technology, right? One more, I'll give you with this, and then I will stop. If you want to buy a refrigerator, right? Or if you want to buy a dining table, what do? You go go to a showroom? Why do you go to a showroom? Let's say a dining table. You want to see the size, whether it's 4-seater, 6-seater, whether it fits into your area, or it really matches to your main hall and all of this, right? What if we say like we are doing brilliantly in that space? Again, using the technology, AR and VR we are using, right? And it clearly says like you have, all have to do is you have to really select that kind of a dining table. If you take a picture of your hall in the dining table, you can actually move that picture wherever in the hall space, in the virtual area of it, and say like where you want to really fit. What is the kind of shape you want to really do? And then let's say there is a refrigerator behind. You can actually virtually move the refrigerator and see like what all changes that you can really do. Isn't it cool? So those are what I'm trying to say, like you have to start thinking about what consumers comfort mean, how you can kind of enable them with technology. All of this is what is going to kind of keep the organization forward. For that, again, your values become very important. One of our values is again like keeping the consumers in the mind and being very audacious. Whenever you are being very audacious, you will start driving not incremental innovation, but transformation innovation at scale. So these are the four, and then I'm going to really now say all of this. Next slide. The reason I picked this slide, folks, is like this is a slide I really like about Nelson Mandela, right? It says like as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give others the permission to do the same. That means as people, the reason why I'm just quoting this is like at Flipkart, why Flipkart is producing more entrepreneurs, because the culture is very entrepreneurial in nature. When you experience this more and more, it gives you an unconscious permission for you to really go and experiment this for yourself outside. I'll give one small anecdote. I was interviewing as part of my research a very young entrepreneur from Flipkart, right? When I say young, can you tell me like how many years the person had an industry experience? How many years do you think that person?
3 years.
1 year. She graduated from a B school and she was with Flipkart for 1 year. Then she started her own business and it started to really flourish right left center. I was very curious and I was asking, number one, even after 30 years, I don't get the guts to start a business. Right? Within 1 year, what is the possibility for you to really do that? That's number one. Number two, how did you acquire these skills? And she gave a very beautiful example. When she joined Flipkart, she was supposed to kind of interface. She joined as a marketing team in the business development team, and she had to interact with the brand. It's a big brand. I'm not going to say which brand it is. It's a big brand. It's a multi-billion-dollar brand. I had to interact with the CEO of the brand for the deal negotiation. Generally, for such deal negotiation, who will go? Head of the department, or at least like managers. In the team, the head of the department said, like, now, why don't you go and speak? I'll be the best. She was very nervous and said, like, I've not done this, I'm just fresh out of college. This CEO has like 25 years of experience. What will I really do? What will this deal plunks because of me? All he assured us, I'm there behind you. If anything goes wrong, you should know that I will check it. Nothing will go wrong, you go and express yourself. She went, first meeting was nervous. After that, some 5-6 meetings happened. At the end of 1 year, she felt that she can be better than that CEO. Experience, look at the culture. The culture of empowering the employee, not going by hierarchy. Again, this ritual, guys, this is very important, okay? Every act of yours, what is the definition of culture? Anybody can say in 2 lines, what is culture? Huh? What's your definition of culture? Huh? Learning, okay. Way of life, fantastic. Set of values, fantastic. So for me, my simple definition of culture is that culture is the one which is not only what you demonstrate, but what you tolerate. Correct? In this institute, if the directed tolerance coming late is okay, that becomes the culture. It's not necessarily like director have to come on time, but if he is lenient enough, that becomes the culture. So culture is not only what you demonstrate, but what you really tolerate. So here in the example, what I really put the business leaders demonstrated the culture of risk-taking, putting this pressure in front of the CEO, right? And telling that I will tolerate even if this fails. That's how like you will develop this culture of experimentation, this risk-taking. And that is key to bringing this entrepreneurial spirit, right? Being bold, being very audacious. Does it make sense? Okay, so that is what this code. I would very strongly believe that this is we really live this code. When you live this code, the resultant of this is the next slide. Look at the wagon wheel, right? Flipkart in the center, and more than 200 companies that Flipkart has produced. Culture is not that developing your own company, but can you really contribute beyond your company? Right? That's what this slide is all about. So you remember that when I started off with a metaphor called airplane, right? So remember that Flipkart was an airplane taking their employees to a desired destination. So that airplane now has become, Flipkart has become an airport. Right? There are multiple airplanes. There are more than 200 airplanes now, right? They are taking their passengers to the desired destination. Right? So transforming a company from being an aircraft to an airplane, is it a big culture? Right? How does that really happen? It's a culture of being those three components that I really said. When you really live those values, the purpose, the employee value proposition, you will go like this. Right? My last slide, and then I will end. Our culture is therefore not just impacting us, but the entire startup in India as before. Right? And this book is all about that. What I've done in the last 40 minutes, I think I stuck to my time. Thank God, maybe like 5 minutes here and there. What I've really done here is like given you a glimpse of what is our culture. If you want to know more, next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. If you want to know more, you should dive into this. Make sense? Thank you, folks. Minutes or so. Now 50 minutes. Maybe you have another 25 minutes with you. Any questions you have? First and foremost, does it resonate with you, this story? Right? Okay.
We have opened the floor for a discussion. Where our students will have the opportunity to ask you a few questions about the book and your journey in writing them.
Okay. I will answer as much as possible. So in this deck, I have not gotten very technicality of all the researchers. So I went with the professor. So all those technical stuff will go to your seniors. No questions? Yeah. Can somebody give the mic to her, please? Here. Madhuri, okay.
So I was going through this book, A Billion Dreams, and I came across the term ex-flipsters. So they are the professionals who design at Flipkart and to pursue their entrepreneurial.
Correct.
So what are how does Flipkart instill the entrepreneurial culture in the minds of the employees? Like does it conduct any training programs or mentoring sessions? How does it make sure that how do it produce always 200?
I think it's a brilliant question. I didn't answer. If we think like training program can do, like every other company can do it, isn't it? So the best part of training program, so this itself is 1 hour session you were listening with me. How many of you were looking at your phone? 80% of you in between the session, right? Some of you were also went into Nirvana state, right? Peaceful, and then suddenly coming back. So do you think like this generation, like training helps? Only training can help. Training will also help, right? So therefore, what I'm trying to say is this cultures have to be like demonstrated. The last use case that I gave, right? For example, like your first year. Let's say you join Flipkart after like 2 years. You go through a similar experience. All of us have this entrepreneurial urge within us, right? But what it should really give you to become an entrepreneur is that confidence. Yes, I can do. Number 2 is the experience. Number 3 is the skill. Number 4 is the network. Today, if you to start a company, what do you need?
Yes.
No. Okay, I have confidence in all of them. What is very important? In Telugu, you can't double, right? That is important. So, in fact, I'll give one more story. So, I asked like pretty much all the entrepreneurs who were ex-flipsters, I asked, how did you manage to get the funding? You know what their answers is? They said, like how IITs, IIMs carry the brand value, Flipkart brand value carries very high weightage in the venture capitalist communities. If you say that I am from Flipkart, they're open for conversation, right? There's a huge alumnus network. They will come and really help. The second care, the big thing, fuel is taken care. The second, what is the second important element if you want to start? Having an idea. So idea, not only idea, but you need to have a great product market fit. What is the total addressable market? What's a great product market fit? And the third is having the right founding team. And then let us constantly pivot. So this is an experience that you really get in the organization. Because of Flipkart, you also get the network, the strong alumni, that is actually giving them the confidence. Again, the risk taking, not all the startups, okay, the research proves that. How many startups they kind of still sustain after 5 years? Can you tell me? What percentage of startups sustain after 5 years?
2%, sir. 2%.
Less than 5%. Okay? Today, startup is such a fancy word, but 95% of them fail. Again, you need to have an appetite. Answers?
Good afternoon, sir. Myself is Anish. I have two questions. One question is that regarding M&As. Flipkart was most concentrating on M&As, mergers and acquisitions, but why did it venture into the multinations? Is the first question.
Why not?
Multinations, why did it cross India instead of concentrating on mergers and acquisitions?
Very good question.
The second question was, is like what I personally think is that these all e-commerce are destroying the Indian retail industry, the physical retail industry. What's your thought on that? Thank you.
Brilliant. Somebody seeded this question to you.
Sorry?
Okay, forget it.
Me, myself, is like families in the retail industry, so that's the reason.
Very nice. Okay. The first question you just said, right, why is your M&A? And second, why are you not venturing beyond India? Right? I'll answer that question. Why are you not venturing beyond? You know what is the total addressable market of the retail industry, organized and unorganized together? You know what is the value? Huh? You will be like flabbergasted if I just say that. It is $1.4 trillion in India. $1.4 trillion. You know what is the e-commerce penetration in that? Huh? Is less than 15%. You have so much to really do here. You have just scratched the surface. You can do a lot here, right? So that's the reason we just thought like, instead of boiling the entire ocean, let me really go deeper here. Second, you asked a very pertinent question. What will happen if e-commerce is taking everything? Of the $1.4 trillion, you know which segment has the highest market share? Segment that says, I will make it easier. Is it grocery? Is it FMCG? It is apparel? What is that segment? Huh? Yeah, obvious answer, all of you would say FMCG, no? But the starting answer is grocery. Right? Grocery, you know how much is the market share of on that is 1.4 trillion? 60% of it. Okay, 60% is the grocery market share. Of that, what is e-commerce penetration? Do you know? Of the 60% of 1.4 trillion is your grocery market share. You know what is the e-commerce penetration so far? Is less than 1%. That's the data. Nilesh. So sometimes what happens is like suddenly in metros that we see this Blinkit, metros, we think, oh, everything is taken away by the e-commerce, right? It's still a lot more. Being said that, is there a question that some of the conventional retailers are getting impacted? In some sector, maybe yes, maybe not. What are we trying to really do? We actually work through kiranas, right? It's not like we work against kiranas, we work through kiranas. So that it is you are coexisting in the business, it's not you are competing. So that's the answer. Good. Tell your parents, you will go strong. Okay. Any other question?
Yes, sir. I would like to ask a question. I'm Ijaz. Because I have a doubt from the page 27 of your book.
I will not remember that page. Please.
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so it mentions that when a company grows, there may be changes to the vision and the mission that it was all like previously thinking. Okay, as they move forward in their journey, there may be changes. So, sir, keeping that in mind, do you think there should be some challenges to that? And if at all they do make these changes, what do you think they should overcome, and what precautions they should keep in mind while making these changes?
Yeah, I think, again, a good question. I'll try to modify the question. Okay, now I am a most preferred e-commerce player in India. Is it good enough that whatever I have done, is it going to the same model will take me for the next 10 years? Right?
No, sir.
It's not going to take. So therefore, what you have to do, at every given point in time, you'll have to start looking at your product market fit. Even in the line of your, either a line of business or your cohort of businesses. Right? The second question is it important? I don't know how many of you got deep into this subject. To grow a business, there are two economies. So you have this economies of scale, where you scale the one line of business. Maybe I'm doing $100 million. I want to take it to $500 million with the same vertical. There is also the economies of scope. What does economies of scope means? But diversification, right? And one way of diversification is also your M&As, right? You have to really focus your economies of scale and also your economies of scope. And then every time that you really do that, you have to keep repivoting. For example, I gave in our journey that Flipkart Quick that we launched in 2000, right? We did not, from a product market fit, maybe like we did not really do that right. So now we repivoted it and now we are launched the Flipkart Minutes. That means there is some learning. We are trying to really do that.
Thank you, sir, for that.
That's all.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sridhar.
Sridhar.
Yes, sir. So firstly, thank you for bringing this. It's a very good case study for all of us. So the question which I have is, you were speaking about
Not big billion views. A billion views.
a billion.
Big billion days is your BBD. Please keep talking on this.
No, so what are the I just wanted to give guidance about what are the mistakes that entrepreneurs are making while they're starting up startups, for them to sustain for a long period of time and be successful. So how can they be better at what they do?
Yeah. I can give based my research. I can't give a practical answer. Based on research, I will tell you. Okay. When I interviewed a lot of these entrepreneurs, this came out to be a very as a gospel truth to me, right? We think startup is all about like fancy stuff, lot of success, right? So one of the entrepreneurs, he said like, hey, you know what, Varda? More than success that we taste, almost like 20x of it we taste failures, right? when failures hit you, it is important for you is how you can really handle those failures gracefully, and then your ability to really bounce back and learn from them. That is resilience, right? And if you don't have this appetite to handle failures, and if you succumb to pressure, you are dead, right? So that's a very important lesson that everyone should really know, and it applies to students, to all of you, right? So you're all running a race, right? And you all think like, I should only succeed, right? What if you really fail? Failure also teaches something, right? And it helps you to repivot. There is one more founder who really came back and asked the question that has been posted to him. Tell me, I am a young startup entrepreneur. Tell me, when should I really stop my business? At what point in time I should take a decision whether I should continue with the business or I should really stop? You know his answer? His answer was like very hitting on the face. He said like, moment when the thought crosses your mind that whether should I stop or should I run, that means you are no longer an entrepreneur. Right? It is all about that grit. It's all about never giving up. It's all about constantly looking what is consumer want. The other big lesson that I have learned during the research is a lot of times people are so passionate about their product that they really build. It's not about passionate about your product. You have to be passionate about what consumer want. You can build a great product, but if the product doesn't match to what consumers really want, you are out of the business. So you have to dispassionately detach yourself from the product and then look what consumers want and start pivoting on them. Does it answer? Yes.
So very recently, I think it was a public event where our Commerce Minister, Piyush Goyal, expressed contempt against e-commerce platforms, and also there are serious allegations by Competition Commission of India against e-commerce platforms like Flipkart. So what would be your response to them?
I should ask my PR team to come and answer. I answered.
My question is, you just mentioned that Flipkart has grown many entrepreneurs, and what was the organization that such a debate that inspired them to?
No, I'm not able to hear. Others are quite busy in their conversation.
So my question is like, so what inspired them in Flipkart to become an entrepreneur? And how did they get inspired when they were working in Flipkart? And how did you are training them?
The question is how people in Flipkart inspired me not.
No, like how, like you had mentioned that in Flipkart has given out many entrepreneurs, and over 300 entrepreneurs from Flipkart.
I think I answered. That was the question she asked, right?
Yeah, my mind is looking bit more to into point like what was the like how did they get inspired?
How do they get inspired? That's what I just said, right? Like, I thought, like, is that the same question or different? I don't know. Founders of Flipkart?
No,
I mean, it's the same question. It's not the founders. How the employees get inspired to become an entrepreneur? Is that right? Yeah, it's the same thing. I spoke about. I answered to a question. It's all about how are you living your values, your culture, and in fact, the culture of entrepreneurship. We actually did a study of entrepreneurship. What is the core culture? The culture, here are number 4-5 points of that. I can actually go back and show that. These are the 5-6 elements about the culture that we spoke. This is the brief element of the culture. The culture is like 8O. On the corporate entrepreneurship, there are five factors. Number one is your culture is very empowering culture. Right? Number one. You can't really kind of clip the wing of your employee and then say like now you kind of take all the risks. So is your culture is very empowering. Number two is the culture is very proactive in nature. Right? Third is the culture encourages risk taking and innovation. right? And the fourth is how is the culture very rewarding for those people for in terms of learning, growth, and all of that. So there is a study that I have in the other presentation. One slide on what is the culture of corporate entrepreneurship that the researchers have really come up, and we actually used an instrument developed by Kellogg Business School professor on entrepreneurship, right, for our quantitative study. We administered that, and then we came out with there are 15 attributes of entrepreneurship. We made that sample into like 3 different set of samples. The first sample is the founder, the CEO, and the management team. That's the first set. The second set is the flipsters who turned as an entrepreneur. That's the second set. How did they really experience? The third set is like the employees who have experienced Flipkart over the period of 10 years, and also like we hired a lot of entrepreneurs into our company. How did they really experience? It's like a cross section of all the 3. And this was a great revelation to me. Out of the 15 traits of entrepreneurship, almost 10 of them collaborated by all 3 of these groups. That means the people now are experiencing the culture. People who left and become entrepreneurs, they also experience. And this was a vision formed by our founder, CEO, the management. They also felt 10 of them of the 15 have actually matched. That's a big thing, right? It's about how people experience it. I don't know if I answered your question. You still have that question mark face.
Thank you, sir. You have answered my question.
Oh, okay. You are being very present. Nice to meet you.
Sir, Flipkart has launched the 2GO.com program also. Yes, sir. What is the primary motivation, and also how did it address the gaps in the Indian market, sir?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, very good. I think you were reading those books, sir. Too good is nothing but it's a market where like how many of you buy second-hand phones? None of you? Okay, this is a very elite set of group, okay? Your parents have spoiled you, huh? Okay, there is a significant set of they buy second-hand phones. That's a refurbished, right? So when we really started this is like how can we really get all of those so there is an exchange offer is there. When you buy a new phone, you can exchange your old phone for a new phone where you get some money. But those old phones also we don't kind of dump it. It's an electronic waste, right? How do you really refurbish them and give it to somebody who's in the needy, right? In a very cheap value or an economical value. So that's the pivot in which that we saw there is a huge potential, huge opportunity. There are consumers who want really, specifically the lower India. They actually want to really do this refurb. As an example that I want to give you. So that's the reason that we formulated. Now we also acquired a company called Yantra, and then we strengthened our this offering to kind of go very deep into the business.
Thank you, sir, for your patiently answering all my questions.
Perfect. You are done, keeper. Thank you so much, folks. Looks like that I will come.
Hey, bro.
Yes, correct, sir. To present a token of gratitude to Varadharaju. I would like to request the dean sir to come with a word of thanks.
for me to propose a formal welcome thanks to Varadharaju Janardhanan. After you have taken us the entire journey of the Flipkart from 2007 to 2008, and all the while we have been facing that Flipkart is an e-retailer, but after listening to you, we have got a complete picture of what Flipkart is about, what they are doing, what they stand for, and what they are, what culture they are promoting, and how they are contributing to the startup ecosystem in our country. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us. Our students also, I'm very sure, will be motivated to join Flipkart also, and also the next step is to become part of the ecosystem of entrepreneurs in the country. They will become a part of the startup India. The motivation you provided is very quite inspirational. Thank you very much, sir. For accepting our request and coming to ICE and spending your time with the students. You are also lined up for the second year students in the afternoon, and after that you are going to interact with faculty also. Thank you very much, sir. You are giving an entire day for us today. Thank you very much, sir. Now, you can go for your lunch, and your next class will start at 2:30.
Thank you.